Hi, my name's Tim Roghaar, and in my video I'm going to talk about supernovas. So let's go to the classroom and have a look.
A supernova is the explosion of a star in which the star's luminosity increases by as much as 20 magnitudes, and most of the star's mass is blown away at a very high velocity, sometimes leaving behind an extremely dense core.
So there are a bunch of different kinds of supernovas, but right now we're just going to talk about two. When a star, such as our sun, dies, the core inside begins to shrink, and that's because there's a balance in stars. So the center of the core is getting denser and denser and denser, and the outside core, or the outside layer, is getting bigger and bigger, and eventually the balance will give. So a star the size of our sun, the core would shrink down to like about the size of the Earth, like teeny tiny. And that shrinkage would cause an explosion, and the gases on the outside of the sun would spread all the way out, and they would even go past Earth, and just, we would be... And they expand and expand, and they'd go almost to Mars. And that's when the star would become a red giant. So you have this huge layer of gases, and then way down teeny tiny in the bit of the core is what we call a white dwarf. So one of the coolest things I think I've learned in this class was that our solar system is very unique, and that it is actually more common for two stars to orbit each other. So let's say, for instance, we have a red dwarf and a white dwarf orbiting each other in space. Well, the white dwarf's density is so much stronger, and its gravitational pull is so much bigger, that it can start stealing materials from the red dwarf it's orbiting with. So we get all these bits of the red dwarf, the gases such as helium and hydrogen, being sucked into the heavy and very unstable core of this white dwarf. And as it starts building in all these materials, it gets heavier, and the heavier it gets, the more unstable it gets. And that's when we get
Supernova!
So what makes it explode?
Right before this white dwarf explodes into a supernova, something very important happens. While it's been sucking all these materials from the red dwarf and getting bigger and denser and more unstable, certain things are happening in the core of the white dwarf. Specifically, carbon and oxygen are fusing together and creating an absolute monster. Iron. This iron is like kryptonite for this white dwarf, and it's what causes the massive explosion that we know as the supernova. And this is where it gets really cool. These explosions, these supernovas, have literally created everything around us, including me and you.
This Madagascar hissing cockroach. Ooh. These tropical fish. This itty-bitty tadpole. This leopard gecko. And this little baby chick.
So when you think about it, we actually owe quite a lot to supernovas. Let's just hope there isn't one close to us.